Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the TeenLife Virtual Gap Programs Information Sessions. Thank you so much for joining us today. As I let our attendees roll in, I'm going to go through a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. As attendees, you can use your Q&A button on your screen to type any questions to our presenters at any time. So feel free to use that throughout the 45 minutes that we have today to get your questions out. Just so you know, as attendees, your camera and your microphone are off, so the panelists can't see or hear you. The only way to get your questions asked and answered is by using that Q&A feature, so feel free to use it at your leisure. And another reminder that this presentation is being recorded and will be made available in a couple days. So if you missed it or missed some information, you'll be able to get caught up then. So without any further ado, I'd like to turn it over to our first presenters from the Center for Interim Programs.
Matt, is my screen up?
Not right now, no.
Okay, I don't see my screen. There we go. Okay. Okay, thank you. So good evening, everyone. My name is Holly Bull, and I'm president of the Center for Interim Programs. We are the first and longest running independent gap year counseling organization in the United States. We started in 1980. Nobody was talking gap year at that point. And we work with over 8,000 students across the US and also internationally since 1980. I myself have taken 2 gap years, one before college, one after my sophomore year. And I've been counseling students now for over 30 years here at the Center for Interim Programs. All I do is gap year counseling, and I've worked with over 3,500 students. I'm a professionally accredited gap year counselor through the Gap Year Association, and I'm very biased in favor of taking gap time. The 2 photos on the screen here are from my first gap year. So the top right here is me at 17 doing a marine biology internship in Hawaii, trying to figure out if I want to be a marine biologist. I don't know, it took me two months or so before I thought, no, I don't. So that was good to know before heading off to college and majoring in that field. And then I went to Greece on an academic cultural study program in the spring with peers, and everything I was studying related to the culture around me. And that was really exciting. And I hit college with way more vigor because of that. So there's so many benefits to gap time. I mean, when students are choosing what they want to do, they're more motivated. So you're practicing, in a sense, in this year, how to be proactive about your life, which is a skill. Students are also offloading stress and resting. They're engaged in things, but there's not quite so much coming at them. And I think sometimes the summer is not enough time to fill back up before hitting 4 more years or more of schooling. The relevance of the studies, our studies to the world, this is a big issue, or was for me. It's like, how does all this stuff I've been cramming into my head all these years in school relate to the world around me? And that's a missing piece for a lot of students. And the gap year helps make that connection. And then students are becoming typically more financially aware. So this is a real benefit, just learning how to budget because they're thinking about it, and parents are often laying out a budget for them to work with. And it's a skill among many others that you're garnering during this gap time. You know, everything you do also is going to go on a resume. And you're going to use these skills probably more than most college classes in your studies in the work world beyond. It certainly helps to step into college if you're heading to college with more clarity about what you want to focus on in terms of a major or potential career, or not, as in my case. And then how you transition from college to the work world or from gap time into the work world is going to be easier for you because you've had this half step out into the world, like a trial run. When I say a program, gap year program, because I call everything a program, I separate them into these 4 main categories. So the top right here is an example of the facilitated group program, you know, where you with 10 or 12 peers, leaders. It could be a cultural study type program abroad, or it could be an outdoor adventure program, or, you know, you might be focusing in on studio art or art history or language, but always with a peer group. And you're paying some overarching fee or tuition for these, for that extra cushioning and support and everything that's setting up for you. The next category are shorter skill-based intensives, so 1 to 4 weeks, you know, where you could be doing something like the WENT course here to the bottom left, and in 4 weeks and coming away with certifications potentially. Or it could be, hey, I want to learn how to, you know, be a ski instructor, or I want to do an intensive cooking course, or do filmmaking, or learn how to run a recording studio. And these can be woven into gap time or pulled into breaks and summers down the line or breaks in college. Third category, urban internships, you know, 6 to 12 weeks landing in a city, living in shared housing with fellow students and engaging in some kind of a substantive work experience to check it out and also gain more skills. you're living basically the way you're going to live post-college, and you can do this at 18 or 19. And then the last category are the volunteer work options. So the first three you're paying something for. The last category are much more low cost. You might be getting housing and food in exchange for labor, or doing a work placement. And that could be like renovation work. Here in this picture, one of my students who is in Europe just helping renovate a historic building, or horse rehab work, etc. And this just gives you a picture of what a year can look like. It doesn't have to follow this blueprint, but you can see it's pretty much following a school calendar. So people do their own thing in the summer, typically often a group program in the fall, the most structure and support, and then invariably move into more independent placements in the winter to spring, or they might do another group program, or you could do one thing the whole year. So there's a lot of flexibility, and you are often changing as you go through this year. That's totally normal. With Interim, since this is all we do, we're helping you navigate your gap time. So the value of what we're offering is this free 90-minute brainstorming session for anyone who's interested. Part of our mission is just to educate people about the gap year. And there's no obligation to work with us. After this session, you're going to come away with a lot of information and a potential plan for a student's year. And we're drawing from the widest range of over 6,500 options. And many of these things that we're working with, they're vetted. So we're offering vetted options for families. If people sign on, our fee is good for a lifetime. We get no money from programs, no referral fees are coming in. And if somebody's on a budget, we will always help out. So we'll offer scholarships for our fee. And then we have a whole range of vetted low-cost options. You do not have to bleed financially to have a great gap year. So if you want any more information, please feel free to contact us. We're based here in New Jersey. Just in New Jersey, our number's below in the email, and our website, interimprograms.com, has a lot of information. Feel free to harvest our site. And we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much. Let me pull up the schedule. And next, I would like to introduce College Year in Athens.
Thanks, Matt. My colleague Cheyenne and I are just going to pull up the screen right now. Brief introduction about us. We are CYA, College Year in Athens. We've been running study abroad and gap year programs for numerous years, for fall semester, spring, summer, winter. So we're going to start with our presentation now. I'm going to take you to CYA really quick. This is outside of our academic center in Athens. What's great about our location is that we're centrally located right in the city. So you cannot be more of the heart in the city. It's the Pangrati neighborhood. So we're just going to zoom in here very quickly to give you a kind of a real feel of where you could potentially be. And we're located right across from the Panathinaike Stadium, which is where some of the Olympic Games were held. And as we turn left here, you will see the CYA Academic Center, where students' classes are held, and our dining hall. Just a beautiful central location. So at CYA for the gap year, we're offering 2 program options. And the first is an archaeological field work, excavation, workshops, and digital technologies. So I'll kind of take you through that right now. The curriculum and learning outcomes. Students will spend 3 weeks excavating on the site of Ahiondi Halai, which is on the Athenian coast. Following that, students will work with the materials lab to learn about restoration and sorting processes. You will learn digital technologies in archaeological research, keep an archaeological excavation log, and receive a certificate of participation upon your completion of the excavation. This is a great track for students that potentially might want to major in archaeology or have a strong interest in archaeology. Although you don't need to have that, a lot of our students that do choose this program are from that background. Our second track is understanding activism, diversity, and equity, the example of Greece. We feel that this is a new track for us, and will be a very hot topic. It's been trending here in the United States, and we're really just going to connect it to Greece and the culture of Greece. So the learning outcomes for this track would be to gain a deeper understanding of the social changes happening in Athens and Greece. And themes include refugee aid, environmental issues, diversity, inclusion, human rights, education, and more. So the students that sign up for the activism track will volunteer at various NGOs throughout Athens and find ways to connect with the community and really understand the Greek culture and the Greek people and relate it back to life in the United States. Program highlights, and these are for both tracks. So students will be taking trips, day field trips to Aegina and Delphi. There's a 6-day trip to Crete, a 5-day trip to the Peloponnese, various sites and museums around Athens, guided walks of Athens. You'll learn beginner Greek, which is a great opportunity. And you'll also receive a certificate of completion of your ePortfolio seminar. I'm going to dive into that right now. So this is this is very specific to CYA and very unique. The ePortfolio is something that will help you throughout your career, whether it's your undergraduate or you continue on to your graduate studies. You'll document the work that's done in the program. You'll work with our faculty to develop your ePortfolio. You'll fully grasp your own intellectual and social development while on the program. Hone your skills of selection, organization, presentation, and self-assessment, which you'll be able to use future in your academic and professional careers. It'll be a great addition to your resumes. And these skills, regardless of the track that you choose, are transferable to any major that you might later select. So program details. For fall 2021, we're running September 16th to November 23rd. The number of participants is usually between 5 and 16. We do have an 18 years of age requirement. And if you are a US citizen, there is no visa requirement to enter Greece. So our cost is $9,950, and the following are included in that. So transportation within Greece on your field study trips that we mentioned before, housing in a CYA apartment in the Pangradi neighborhood, so central location with other students, entrance into all sites visited on the program, lunch in the CYA cafeteria from Monday through Friday, and that does include vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free options, anything you might need, and of course, student support and health insurance throughout the program. Student support is something that we take very seriously at CYA. So we do have a student advisor that will be working with you throughout your application process up until your arrival into Athens. That includes your pre-departure material and your orientation on site. You will also have an arrival orientation and acculturation activities, an arrival day airport meet, greet, and assist, and free access to the CYA Academic Center, including lounges and library. And we do also have psychologists and psychiatrists available on campus as students may need. And I just want to end off on this slide here. A great way to get to know CYA, and we have actually students that are on campus right now in Athens, would be to follow our Instagram right here at CYA Athens, in addition to our YouTube channel and the CYA blog, which has articles written directly by CYA students themselves. Our website's on the left, www.cyathens.org, and our email, gapyear@cyathens.org, for any information or questions that you might have or need. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Let me pull up my screen again so we can take a look at the schedule. And next, I would like to introduce Raleigh International Expeditions.
Thank you. Hi everyone, so my name is Georgia and I work at Raleigh International. I'm the Events and Marketing Officer. So who are we as an organisation? We are a global youth action organisation that works with young people from all around the world who are aged between 17 to 24 to create lasting change in the world. So we engage, ignite and equip them with the skills, knowledge and experience to create that lasting change. We've been going for over 35 years, so we have plenty of years worth of experience behind us. And these are the countries that we work in. So we work in Nepal and Costa Rica, and it's completely up to you where it is that you would want to join a Raleigh expedition. So what's involved in our expeditions? So we run 4, 5, 6, 7 and 10-week expeditions. Our 10-week expeditions are the most popular because you'll get to take part in the 3 different projects that you can see on the screen here. So the in-community, an environmental project and an adventure leadership track. If you were to join us for 6 or 7 weeks, you'd do 2 out of the 3. And if you were to join us for either 4 or 5 weeks, you'd focus on either a community or an environmental project and then take part in a shorter adventure leadership track. Our 7 and 10-week expeditions run spring, summer and fall, and our 4 and 5-week expeditions run during the summer as well. So anyone who's maybe not wanting to take a full gap year, but still wanting to get involved in something, then that's the perfect opportunity. And our 6-week expedition is going to be running from April 2021. These are our fundraising targets. So we are a non-for-profit organisation, so we like to talk about fundraising rather than costs. And this will include all your in-country travel, so getting picked up from the airport, taken back to field base, where you'll receive around 5 days worth of training, going over things like health and safety, the projects that you're going to be working on, going on a practice track, those different kind of things, and then all the travel to your different project sites and then back to the airport at the end. Your in-country travel and medical insurance is included alongside the specialist equipment that you're going to be using, all your food and accommodation, and like I said, that full training when you arrive in country. But when you sign up for a Raleigh expedition, you'll also be allocated a volunteer coordinator who is there to help you every single step of the way, and they'll supply you with some training as well. So to kind of give you a bit of an idea of what our expeditions are made up of, I'm going to start by talking about our adventure leadership track. So you are navigating yourselves in a team of 12 to 14 volunteers, and then supported by at least 2 volunteer managers who are aged between 25 to 75. You're carrying everything that it is that you need on your back, supporting each other and getting to take in incredible scenes as you go along. You'll also get to be the leader of the group for the day. So you're going to decide how far it is that you're going to walk that day, when you're going to take your rest breaks, where are you going to camp when you get there, who's doing what jobs like cooking, collecting firewood, water, putting the tents up as well. So there's a lot more to track than just trekking. Our environmental project is in Costa Rica, so you'll be working in one of the many national parks helping to promote ecotourism. So you could be making the parks more easily accessible for tourists, park rangers, scientists, researchers by clearing pathways throughout. You could be working on some reforestation projects, or I was there last summer and we were working in a park called Guayabo National Monument that had hundreds of year-old artifacts, and we were clearing them because they were overgrown from nearby trees, and just making sure that they were easily visible so that people would want to continue to go and visit these parks and that they had a steady income coming in. Our community project as well is focusing on water sanitation and hygiene in Nepal. So providing communities who were badly affected by the earthquake back in 2015 with access to safe drinking water. So you could be digging trenches in order to lay the water pipes that will then connect to the tap stands that you're building, and hand washing stations as well. On all of our projects, you'll also get to work on awareness raising sessions with the communities. So going through the 7 steps of hand washing, and also working with the women in the communities as well, teaching them how to make reusable sanitary products. We are also Gap Year Association accredited, which is something we're very proud of as a British organisation. So yeah, hopefully that kind of gives you some assurance about who we are. So quickly, what are you going to gain from a Raleigh expedition? You're going to gain leadership, not only from track, but from all the projects that you're going to be working on. You will get to be the leader and use those skills going on in your life as well. You'll get to work in a team alongside other volunteers, but community members, project partners, making sure that you're getting the best results on our projects. And you'll also develop your self-confidence as well. And trust me, I've known it from taking part in a Raleigh expedition. I came away and felt like a completely different person, and that I could achieve anything that is that I wanted to. And you are going to make friends for life from literally all around the world who have similar interests to you, and are just going to be always in touch with you. If you want to find out more, please do feel free to email us at this email address, or visit our website. There you can book a call with a member of the team who's been on expedition, or you can sign up for an online information event as well, which we hold every month, where you'll definitely find out more about our projects, fundraising and safety as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen again. While we're here, I also want to remind our attendees that if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat whenever. You don't have to wait until the end. But next, I would like to introduce City Year.
All right. I'll share it. Good, cool. So hello, everyone. My name is Dylan. I'm here representing the amazing gap year program, City Year. We are a service year that is used as a gap year between you pursuing more school or you pursuing going on to college. I'm here with my esteemed colleague, Jasmine. She's an alum of City Year Little Rock. I'm an alum of City Year Dallas, and we're both in Columbia, Missouri, as well as Detroit, Michigan. So let's talk about why we do what we do. City Year, we are a gap year service program with a mission, and that mission is to help every student persist and go on and to graduate high school. We recognize in this country that a majority of our public school systems are systemically under-resourced. Over 800,000 students each year do not go on and graduate high school. And we found that there's a gap between what our students and what our schools want to provide and what our schools are able to provide. And when you work as a City Year, you work in a school every single day as a tutor, and mentor for students, doing academic coaching and social emotional coaching to help students persist, feel like they belong in school, feel comfortable in that space to go on and graduate, to pursue a profession, or to pursue school in their own right. In City Year, we also consider ourselves very much so a social justice organization, and each day we are striving to be truly an anti-racist organization. And we recognize that a majority of our students are part of school districts that are systemically under-resourced, that do not have inequitable access to proper educational resources, educational environments, are students of color and students from lower-income backgrounds. And City, we work to address these issues on a daily basis through conversations and through work with our students and in the communities that we are serving. But we recognize this is a solvable problem. And we have data and studies to show that the work that you do in schools every single day as a City Year AmeriCorps member makes a profound impact on the young people that you work with. At City Year, we know that students succeed. Schools that partner with City Year are 2 to 3 times better in English and math. Those students that come from schools of comparable size and demographics, and the list goes on. And you will feel it yourself. Similar to what all these other amazing programs are describing, you will grow as a professional, and personally when you do this program, and you will see before your eyes the amazing impact when you help a student feel validated and feel like they belong in their school environment. You see the amount of impact you can have on a young person's life. And so what do you do, right? So you're gonna be working in the classroom every single day alongside a partner teacher. You'll do whole classroom support, and you will also do a lot of one-on-one small group academic tutoring, where you pull groups of students 5 or less out of class, take them to a quiet space and do work. You do a lot of data tracking, which we train you on and provide you support in to track your students' growth, what they're doing well in, and what they're not doing well in. You do after school programming. We do a lot of whole school, whole child improvement. We do whole school child initiatives, doing great events to create a fun, engaging, and comfortable atmosphere for everyone in the school, and a lot of small group social emotional skill sets. If you're someone who's got any inkling of an interest in education or social work, this program is definitely for you. But if you're someone who just wants to have a full-time job, get in the real world, get some real experience while earning scholarship money so that you can pursue the rest of your college career with a little bit less debt and with a lot more skills, this program is for you. So again, like I said earlier, 2 times more likely to improve on English and math assessments. We do really great studies that have been done over our 30-year history that prove, again, our model and our structure has an impact, and it also sets you up for success as well. And so we're really big on professional development. If you're going to give a year of your life to support young people and to help them grow and be better, then we want to make sure we set you up for success. We very much consider this program a launch pad for you to go on to where you want to be in life. So like everyone else said, honestly, all these gap year programs provide a lot of the same things in terms of personal development, and we provide that as well. You know, you will be able to persist through challenges. You will be able to occupy and control professional spaces as a confident young adult. You will be able to build relationships with young people, with superiors, with community organizers, with community leaders, you name it. You will have the leadership opportunities and leadership experience after this year to step into any space with confidence, to own it and be the best version of yourself, because you did a whole year working in a systemically under-resourced school, battling challenges, helping others overcome challenges, and really just kicking butt. Our alumni kick butt, right? 45% more likely to be civic engaged. Over 30,000 of our City Year alumni are out in the community doing the work, doing great things. And over 94% have said they have genuinely and had a positive, that this experience had a positive impact on them. Oop, wrong way. And we're everywhere. 29 cities across the US. We're a good excuse to move and travel. A lot of our young 18-year-olds will move, do this program, defer a year, and then go to college afterward. Again, you get $6,000 at the end of your service year to go and use for your college education. If you are in school, you know, you can defer student loans and so on. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. Jasmine's excellent. We love chatting, and we love having young high schoolers take on this opportunity with us. So thank you for your time.
Great, thank you so much. Let me share my screen so we can take a look at the schedule again. And next, I would like to introduce Amigos de las Americas.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I got you. Thank you so much. It's just an honor to be here, and it's also an honor just to see the wonderful organizations, the commitment to counseling and support that is here in the GAP space. My name is Krista Bosco. I'm the Bay Area Director of Amigos. I also have done the program. I have both my children who have done our programs in the summer, and I'm actually looking for GAP programs for my son, who's a senior. So it's always inspiring for me to come and be in this conversations with y'all. I'm here to talk about Amigos, and I'm very very proud to talk about our organization. If you haven't heard about us before, we've been doing this work for a very long time, since 1965. In fact, we've been committed to helping young people change the world before it was a data point for college admissions or a number of hours that needed to be done for service for a school requirement. Really, we're committed, like so many other people on this panel, to a place where young people are lifelong leaders and they share responsibility for our global community. But to do that, it's about creating inspiration and opportunity and building capacity. So in our presentation, you hear a lot of the words like connection, capacity, skills, leadership. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit more about how we build a program. We're also a nonprofit in this space, and we're very proud of that. We have financial assistance. I just want to put that at the very beginning. We have financial assistance for every aspect of our program experiences. So if there's ever anything here where you feel a craving and there's a compelling point and you want to lean in, we really want you to lean into these programs and know that we're here to support you. Whenever we build programs, we build them on 3 pillars. It's not about going to a place that we think is going to be appealing. It's about, are we going to be able to work in collaboration and partnership with communities? And in Amigos, we don't go all over the world. We go to one place. We go to our partnerships, relationships in Latin America. That's where we've been building relationships for 55 years and more, actually. So whenever you hear an Amigos program, know that before we started from the very ground, we looked at our 3 core pillars of leadership, service, and most importantly, I think cultural humility, which is to go into a place with curiosity, empathy, and humility to find out what people are doing there, learn from those communities, and ask how we can be of value to the work that they're doing. And it's really important that we explain that to young people, that we're not going to go someplace just to drop in. We're going someplace to really be in a place of learning, because that learning sparks young people to come back and create change in their own communities. So this spring, we have 3 programs. We have the Civic Action Gap Semester with Tufts University, the Costa Rica program, and the Colorado program. We're very excited to be going back to Latin America, and we're also very excited about our first U.S. domestic gap program. So for the Civic Action Gap program, just to talk a little bit about this is an online program with Tufts University. And we put basically everything we love about programming between volunteerships, mentorships, Spanish, service projects. And the beautiful thing about this is you can join it from virtually anywhere in the world. Some of the program highlights are getting a Tufts course for credit, building your skills and network to make this semester really meaningful, so that you're going to actually meet remarkable leaders throughout Latin America and the US. And here's just a sample of some of the international guest speakers that we had in the fall semester and we expect to come into this spring. Because of our relationships in Latin America, we have classes through Nicaraguan teachers in schools, as well as deep levels of partnership with our partners who will do home and agency tours. And we're really excited about the workshops we're doing in racial equity as well. So there's basically a little bit of everything in this program. And again, the cost is here, $7,975. We have deep levels of financial assistance available. And I want to dive, because I'm running out of time already, to talk about Costa Rica. So we're going back to Costa Rica, and we couldn't be more thrilled. In this program, we're going to be taking young people in a pod model to live with other Costa Rican youth leaders on a nature reserve, especially to work on the climate adaptations that reserve is having to deal with. It's important to know that climate change has already come to Costa Rica in the difference that they're seeing in rain levels. And in this spring, we're going to go help build water catchment systems to deal with the rainy season, which is coming in summer, which has been less rainy than it has in years past. And so that's creating a real need for our young people to come and support the work on those reserves. Because it's a pod model, we'll be living in a cooperative living situation. And we're really hoping this is a program that people are looking for to find inspiration by learning from the social impact professionals, the entrepreneurs, the Costa Rican youth leaders, the activists there, and to build capacity for you to make change here as you see the inspirations that you find in Costa Rica. And it's really important for us that we know that we've all been behind screens for a very long time, and we want this to be a place of restoration experience, what makes people feel lifted up and reconnected back to their own humanity and to the humanity of each other. The cost for this program is $13,475. Please don't let that cost be a scary one for you. We have deep levels of financial assistance with a deadline coming up on December 15th. All right, and now we're going to Colorado with the same idea of cultural humility, leadership, curiosity, and empathy. And for this, we're looking at the conservation efforts happening here in the United States. And we're traveling through the Rockies in a pod model. And this isn't a backcountry or backpacking trip. This is about going and visiting different parts of Colorado and learning from the stewards there, the environmental activists, the folks who were involved in wildlife sanctuaries and preserves, in also learning from Native American people and what their history has been in the region. This is going to be a place where you can really dive into the ethics and practice of conservationism, learn about the original stewards, and also find yourself again in a landscape that's really beautiful and something where we really want to pause on reflections about what it means to be a conservationist and do social change in the United States here at home. So with that, really quickly, I just want to explain the price. Again, $15,995. We've got a deadline of January 15th for financial assistance, and this program starts in March. If you're interested in taking the next step, it's very simple, nothing very fancy. You simply fill out an application. You can go to our website at amigosinternational.org. There's an application there, or come talk to me. This is what I do. I'm really here to help. This is my joyful job, which is to be here and to support families and youth and students and teachers and counselors with questions they have to see if this is the right fit. And you can just email me or go to our website. I also have a coffee chat happening next week and the final week of December. So thanks so much for listening.
Great, thank you so much. And lastly, I would like to introduce EF Gap Year.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for sticking it out until the end here. Great to have so many other great voices in the gap year space here as well. And I'm excited to talk about our EF Gap programs. So my name is Rebecca. I work at EF Gap Year, and I took a gap year myself back in the day. I wish I'd had such an awesome presentation of all my different options back when I made that decision. To introduce you to us at EF a little bit, our mission is opening the world through education. And this is something we've been doing for 55 years now, something that we think is actually more important now in the current global situation that we're facing than ever before. Thinking about our gap year program specifically, we've really created it around an educational philosophy that gives students the skills to excel in college and in life beyond that. So really developing those skills, developing those mindsets, having those experiences that will set you up for success for the rest of your life. We like to think of our program as kind of a choose your own adventure. You can really make it what you want it to be. So you're combining and customizing international travel, language study, service learning, an internship, and a leadership training opportunity. So I'm going to show you how all these pieces fit together into our different program types. And these are just a few of the many different places you can go in these different programs, over 20 different destinations, 5 different continents. So thinking about how those come together, we have a full gap year program. You can think of that as kind of like an academic year. So you have your fall semester, a winter break, and then you're back on the road again for the spring. With the gap semester, that's like your typical semester in college, starting in either the fall or the spring. And we also have short-term programs. Typically, those are focused on specific topics or specific issues that we want students to dive really in depth into. So I'm going to talk about the year and the semester first, and then we'll talk a little bit about short-term programs right at the end there. So this is the first option I want to show you all, a full 26-week EF gap year. So this is composed of 3 custom modules. Those are really the bread and butter of the programs. Each one of them is 6 weeks long, starting with your language study component, your service learning module, and an international internship. You'll see that to really round out that global perspective, we also have our European immersion right at the beginning, which is 2 weeks of really immersive travel in a few different cities in Europe, really trying to sort of understand through a local's perspective some of these great cities in Europe. And you also have in the year program an incredible 3 weeks in Australia and New Zealand, which are really about both the exploration of the incredible nature there, as well as the culture and history. So really a chance to dive deep into this special part of the world. And our gap year program ends with a leadership academy to really round out your year, help you take those next steps forward with confidence. Our gap semester is another great option, perfect for somebody wanting to spend that really deep dive focusing on a specific issue. The Discoverer is kind of the classic gap year in Europe. The Globetrotter, I love it. You're actually on 3 different continents, really getting to see 3 really unique parts of the world. And with those, you have 2 custom modules. So that might look like language and service learning, might look like service learning and an internship. You can really sort of figure out what combination makes the most sense for you. So I just want to dive deep into each custom module in as brief of a way as I can. I love the language module. I'm a huge language nerd myself. So most of you have probably studied a language in high school, but this is really a deep dive into the language, both at one of our EF language schools and the locations at the bottom of the screen there, as well as getting to live with a homestay family, really learning about the culture from those day-to-day interactions. So a lot of fun getting to use that language in real life. Service learning, I would say, is the most transformative of our modules. Students are coming out of this module really feeling like they have the toolkit they need to go forward into their communities and really impact change in the way that they want to be creating change in the world. So we work with our local partners in a few different locations: Costa Rica, Peru, Tanzania, Thailand, the Dominican Republic. All really amazing places to sort of look at what the local community is facing, see how locals are addressing the issues, and get to work on projects with them. Just to highlight a couple, you can see an elephant rehabilitation project that we work on in Thailand. And this is a rural infrastructure project in Peru right there. And finally, the internship is the most independent part of your GAP experience. You're really getting to have a deep dive into business, learning about those skills that you'll need to be successful in your professional life beyond. So just a quick peek at our short-term programs running this summer. I know I'm short on time, so I'll leave it to you to look those up, or I'm happy to answer questions about them. We also do have college credit available for all our programs. And here are our program fees, ranging anywhere from $7,500 for short term, all the way up to $34,700 for the year. We offer scholarships. We work with you on a financial plan. So, and also just note that that includes all of your airfare, all that international flight, as well as your accommodations, meals, and activities. Next steps, would love to chat with you all. Feel free to throw questions in the chat. I'm happy to set you up to learn more about our programs, and feel free to reach out to me right here at my email address, and check us out on Instagram at EFGapYear. Thanks, everyone.
Great, thank you so much. Let me share my screen. So that's the end of our presenters today. I do want to remind everyone that we have a Q&A feature, so feel free to throw any questions in the chat. Now, as we do have about 8 minutes left or so in today's presentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the popular questions that we saw in the Q&A today. And I know a lot of those questions have been answered privately for privacy concerns, but I'm going to go through some of them just so our representatives can answer them out loud. So anyone who didn't see the answer can hear what they have to say. So one of the good questions that I saw was, are any of these programs unplugged, meaning not focused on digital devices getting away from the screen? So I'm just going to go down in the order that we heard today from our presenters. And if you guys don't mind giving like a quick 20-30 second response, I think that would be good. So Center for Interim Programs, do you guys have that, or really anything, if you have any other thing that you want to plug here?
In terms of the age range, that was the question? Sorry.
You can answer age range if that's another question that you want to as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting about the gap year options, the group programs will take students at a younger age, 17. Younger than that, it starts to get harder to place people. If you're looking at more of the internship or volunteer placements, just because of liability, students need to be 18 for those. So it can help to look at the range and to see which ones are going to be available for you.
Great. College year in Athens. Any question that you saw in here, maybe age range or the unplugged that you'd like to answer?
Thanks, Matt. Our age range is 18 and older. If you have a specific situation, please just reach out to us directly and we can discuss options. In terms of the unplugged, our diversity and activism track is really the best option for that. Is students, it's not really a social media focused track at all. It's really engaging with the Greek culture, the community, and different NGOs. So we would definitely recommend that track.
Awesome. Raleigh International Expeditions. Any questions that you want to answer out loud so everyone else can hear?
Hi, yeah. Our expeditions are available for 17 to 24-year-olds, but people can apply when they're 16. The only thing is that we ask is that they either turn 17 before taking part in their expedition or turn 17 on their expedition. With regards to like mobile devices, what we personally recommend is that you maybe leave them at our field base while you're off on projects, or if you do take it, I personally recommend taking your SIM card out and just using it for your phone or your camera, just so that you can like fully immerse yourself in the experience that you're having. And I always used to check in with my family and friends when I was back at field base on my changeover in between projects, and that always worked really well for me.
Great. Sidir, any question, age range, or something that you want to address?
Absolutely. So with City Year, you can be between the ages of 17 and 25 to serve in this program. I know we answered that question in the chat with someone, so it actually is 17 to 25 to serve in this program. There's no way you're on your phone. This is a full-time job, 40 to 50 hours a week. You are a full-time professional. You're an adult. You are becoming the best version of yourself at a 17, 18-year-old. So if you're on your phone, you'll lose your job. What else? Was there anything else that, yeah, that's it, I guess.
Yeah, great. Amigos?
I do love Dylan. Oh yeah, you're an adult. You should figure it out. So here's the thing about this. We have some of the same policies, which are basically we're about a digital detox. We really discourage people bringing their phones and social media. The places we're at, frankly, make it very easy for us to do that because there's often very poor Wi-Fi. But in general, we have a very low tolerance for social media and phones, and we have this really cool challenge by choice, which I think is about, it's really about ownership of your choices and outcomes. So we can create rules, but we want people to create their own norms and take responsibility. So we have a challenge by choice where we basically we hold on to we create a situation where they put it away and it's their own challenge. But I also just want to say to Amigos, we've been doing this a long time, and we know that really behind the use of social media is being able to feel the hard emotions, loneliness, boredom, anxiety. And so part of what our staff is, and also training young people to have the skills and to figure out what is happening with them. Why are they going to their phone? So it's not as simple as just putting a rule, no phones. It's about understanding what are our motivations and then finding better ways, different ways to connect on a human level.
Great, thanks. And EF gap year?
Yeah, thanks. In terms of the age question, our students all have to turn 18 by the beginning of their second module. So students can actually start the program when they're 17. So we always like to chat if people are on the edge to see if you're eligible or not. I saw a question just come in for EF, where do you live for the internships and service learning? Great question. So for the service learning component, you're living in the communities where you're working. So sometimes that looks like a hostel, sometimes that looks like an eco lodge, for example, in Costa Rica. It really depends on the different sites that you're working on, but you're really embedded in the community there. With the internships, that's the most independent module. So students are actually living in a shared flat with their fellow EF gappers. They're learning how to commute and work the 9 to 5, learn to cook their own dinners, all those things we need to do as real adults here, and having a more independent life there. So thanks for that question.
Great, thanks. So a couple things I want to address quick. Just so you guys know, at the 45 mark, so in about 2 minutes from now, I will have to end the session. So if we do disappear, I apologize, but we are on a tight schedule. So if your question isn't answered now, all the reps, if you see questions coming in, feel free to answer them. But if your question isn't answered now, we are going to send a copy of your questions and your contact information to the representatives that you see here so they can follow up with you either tomorrow or next week or something like that. So I just wanted to make that clear. Another thing, as our attendees, when you guys do exit today's session, there will be a quick survey. It's only 4 questions. If you guys wouldn't mind filling that out, we would really appreciate that. It allows us to see how you guys thought today's program went and continue to make some improvements on our side of things. So I really would appreciate it if you could fill that out. And another reminder that this session was recorded and it will be made available to you in a few days. So you guys can keep an eye out for that. If you missed something today, or if you had a friend who wasn't here, you can pass that information along. So there's about a minute left. So what I'm going to do is just if you guys have questions in the chat, leave them in there. If a representative, there's only a minute left, so I don't want to say answer it out loud just in case I cut you off. I don't want to have to do that. So thank you everyone for joining, and I'll just leave it open for another couple seconds to get the chats answered. And if I don't get to say it, have a great day.
Krista, you rock too.
I love it. Love the message.
Yeah, we all rock. Everyone's great. Everyone did great.
Holly, I always appreciate how you frame the different options because it can be so exciting and distracting. And I was like, right, urban internships, right. Like just to the ability to think out. And then I think giving that sample of what a year might look like, just even for me, thinking about Jonah for next year is like really helpful to take all this content and all this exciting work people are doing and let it kind of hang on a structure. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I want to thank everybody for doing this. This was our first one, and I'm just delighted. And the recording will be shared, I'm sure, a lot. This was great. It was really great. My son stopped by and he looked at it and he goes, I wish I could do that.
That's great. Thank
Yeah,
you, Marie, and your fellow did a nice job hosting.
He
Very
did.
clear.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. I have to.
Good night, everybody. Stay healthy.
Good night.
Thank you.
Everybody.